Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. I'm Riot. This week, first and foremost, I'm no longer down with this sickness. So that's excellent. It had turned out to be food poisoning, so that was fun. We've got functionally two topics today. So we'll just go in the order I have them written. Last week, during the episode, in both my sickness and in just like my general knowledge of it, I jokingly said, I don't think I'm gonna watch the Nintendo Direct. I don't know what it could possibly have that I would want to see, because there's nothing that I'm like particularly waiting on news for. Oh boy, was I wrong. It was a madly packed Nintendo Direct, actually, with two surprise polls pertaining to me in particular. So we'll go backwards on that, ending with the biggest one. They are making a Dragon Quest remake. They're making, actually, I think it's called Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, but I'm very excited about that. I'm also just generally excited for how much they are revisiting the Dragon Quest franchise, because they've also got the HD 2D remakes coming out, or they might already be out, I don't remember. But that's very exciting. Next up, we got some like solid Metroid Prime 4 Beyond footage, and I think a release date. I don't remember if there was a release date included in that, but let's see here. But Samus was on a bike and you can go through the desert, and it looks like that's like an in-between levels kind of thing, maybe. It looks very good and very cool, and it'll switch from third person on the bike to first person shooter, which is really cool. Let's see. Metroid. That's cool and whimsical, and wow, so many people are drawing Samus as the Akira meme. It's on pre-order, but I don't see where the release date is. It's supposedly, it just says 2025. So it'll be this year at least. I'm assuming it'll be more towards Christmas time. And then here we go, folks. So Pokemon had a lot of reveals in a Nintendo Direct. Usually I assumed that they would save things like that for a Pokemon Direct. But they didn't. So first of all, Pokemon Legends ZA, they did announce pre-order bonuses, and like there's a bonus for playing the online ranked battles for a couple seasons worth of time, which is the Mega Stones for Delphox, Chestnut, and Greninja. So we got Megas of all three. However, it does say that you are required to play the online ranked battles, and that season 1 will have one of them as a reward, and then another, and then another. So that adds on to the ever-growing price tag of this game. And then, so in addition to that, they have already announced a DLC for the game that is presumably themed around the Pokemon Hoopa, because it is called Mega Dimensions. They showed Hoopa, and then they also showed a Mega Raichu X and Y, which is an interesting choice. It really looks like they were trying hard not to make it look like Pikachu. They failed. But very excited for that. And I do know that once you put into consideration, you know, the game, the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade, if you have to buy a Nintendo Switch 2, actually, even aside from that, even aside from buying a Nintendo Switch 2, you've got the initial price of the game, you've got the Switch 2 upgrade, and the DLC. This game is already $100 total. I say that, and it's not a good thing. It's a Mr. Krabs level of purchase that has to happen. I am still, to my core, an autistic person whose hyperfixation is Pokemon, so I will at some point in my life make that whole purchase. The time is not now, though. I will live vicariously through others. Actually, I do think you can get it on the Nintendo Switch, so I think I'm still gonna get the game. I'm just not gonna do all the extra stuff, really, until getting a Switch 2. Because I know it's gonna run terribly on a Nintendo Switch, like a regular Nintendo Switch. Oh boy. So that's, also that game releases in like a month, which is crazy. And then the big one, from Pokemon, is a new game, entirely new in every aspect, pretty much, for Pokemon. It is called Pokopia. And you play as what appears to be a Ditto who has been separated from its trainer, and it then assumes the form of its trainer, and then it functionally becomes a mixture of like Animal Crossing Pokemon and like a little bit of Mario Maker in there. Everything I could possibly want in a game. I got so many texts the day of that direct of people just telling me, hey, did you see this? If not, you need to. Because that's how on the nose it is for me. Because it is a cozy Pokemon game that you're just interacting with Pokemon. There's customization in it. You can terraform and stuff, just like Animal Crossing. So I'm losing it a little bit in my brain. I'm very excited about that game. That caps the Nintendo Direct stuff for us. Very interestingly, and this is the only thing I have on my notes today that is not related to Pokemon or the Emmys, which is our other topic I'll get to in a moment. One of the Ben and Jerry's founders, Jerry, has resigned from working at the company because the parent company of Ben and Jerry's has been constantly trying to silence them, and they're pretty politically outspoken individuals. And because they keep trying to suppress them talking about anything like that, Jerry has resigned from Ben and Jerry's. So that's how bad it is. Just generally in America, you know? Okay. We're gonna move on to the Emmys. A lot of good stuff happened. But I'll kind of reorder these with importance. First and foremost, we have a new youngest winner of a specific award. Now I can't remember what award he got. Hold on. Okay. Just an Emmy. Okay. He is the youngest Emmy winner ever in a male acting category. His name's Owen Cooper. He is 15 years old. And he won an Emmy for his performance in Adolescence. So that's really cool. Also, just the fact that, you know, a lot of times there's issues within these like little academies with voting for things. So it's honestly impressive that someone so young won an award. Next up, we have Kristen Milotti won Best Lead Actress for her work in The Penguin. I'm super excited about that because she was the highlight of the show for me in a lot of ways. So, also in her speech, she was just like, I just love acting. And I'm like, yes, you get it. Thank you. A true theater kid, it seems. So that was really great. Stephen Colbert won an Emmy live on the very network that canceled his show. His show is being canceled after this year. And naturally, karma's a bitch, and he happened to win an Emmy on live television on the very same network that wanted to cancel his show, and he won it for that show, and it was a very good moment. It was beautiful. We do, unfortunately, live in a country where you can't really have a late night talk show anything anymore because you can't, the government won't allow you to make jokes about anything relating to them. Because not only is Colbert's show shut down, but I'm pretty sure Jimmy Kimmel's show has also been shut down. Like, late night TV is now dying, not out of like cable TV reasons, but government reasons at this point. And then finally, I was not familiar with her game at all. I haven't seen hacks, but Hannah Einbinder won an Emmy, and in her speech, first of all, for some goddamn reason, the Emmys, in order to discourage people from talking over their allotted time limit, set up a donation amount for the Boys and Girls Club of America. And if you talked over time, they took money off of it. But Hannah Einbinder gave a long speech, of which she did go over time, and she did publicly come out and say that she would more than compensate for whatever was lost from that quote unquote lost from that donation during her extra speech time, because she knew that she needed to use her platform. And in her speech, she used her platform to say, "Go Birds, fuck ICE, and free Palestine." So huge use of platform there, which is really, really good. But like I said, Hannah Einbinder, I was not familiar with your game. Thank you. Like, you know what I mean? And she was also wearing an Artists for Palestine pin that she made sure anytime a camera was on her, she would see it and angle so that the pin was visible. Like, she was doing the mostest, and I was so happy to see that from someone who has such a big platform like that. Believe it or not, I've kind of whipped through the fucking normal notes. So what else happened this week? Let's see. Ooh, oh my God, Critical Role Campaign 4. They've shown on a random Monday, they dropped all of the art for all the new characters. I'm so excited for all of them. If anything, just because there's such a wide variety of characters and personalities and things like that. But they released a little video today that was like, you know, the actors playing those characters, you know, kind of gave like a little tease as to what the vibe of their character is like, or like anything like that. Taliesin for example, straight up was like, this is a museum. He's a museum curator of magical curiosities. And then on the other end, you've got Marisha saying that her character is kind of like an old rusty Chevy that won't quit. An amazing, diverse cast for Critical Role. Very big as well. I'm very excited to see how they handle that. For reference, because I don't know how much of my audience plays D&D or watches people play D&D or listens to or anything like that. Typically, when I started learning about D&D and started playing D&D, stuff like that, it was recommended to me to not have more than 3 players. Okay? Very small number. 3. I think that maximum of 8 and under is good. Anything 8, basically from 3 to 8 is good. Anything less than 3 feels a little too small. And then anything more than 8 feels like way too much. I DM 5. I could probably handle 6. Maximum at the moment. I could maximum handle 6 players. I currently handle 5 players. I am so baffled, and I know that they've, in theory, split up the giant group into 3 smaller groups, but the idea that you have to keep track of 13 players, a baker's dozen, if you will, are you insane? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how in the world you're going to handle bigger sessions where everyone's there. I'm so excited to find out. Also, interestingly enough, there is maybe an opportunity for me to teach people how to play D&D in a slightly more official capacity. I would like to argue with them that it should be a paid capacity, but, you know, within reason. Especially, I think it would be easier to teach people how to DM than how to play, because playing D&D is more of a hands-on experience kind of thing. But I do think absolutely if they were willing to pay me to be a DM, that I could totally do. Unfortunately, their first idea was Thursday, which is exactly when Critical Role happens, and girly, I'm occupied that day. So there would have to be a lot of talk about it. But next time I go to that shop, I will be giving them my info just so they have it. So yeah, that's the tweet. I wanted to ramble a little. I needed something to ramble about a little bit because I know last week's episode was probably quite short because I was sick. And my brain, I was like, literally while I was filming, I had a fever and a headache and back pain all at the same time. So it was really hard to focus. And I had just taken medicine right before filming. So I wanted to make sure to kind of pad this episode a little bit with that little D&D tangent. Just because I would like to keep my episode length consistent. And I know last week was a bit short. So I wanted to make sure that this episode was closer to the usual length. Anyways, let's move on to the pyramid. First up on the pyramid, we have Owen Cooper, youngest Emmy Award winner for a male category ever. He's on the pyramid because, oh my God, imagine being 15 and winning an Emmy. And that's a lot for a 15-year-old because he's going to be getting so much attention now from like press and fans, maybe even some paparazzi. Like, that's a lot for a 15-year-old to deal with. Like, he's not even through puberty, and he's already dealing with all of this. That's insane. But also, good on him for winning an Emmy so young, because a lot of people, you know, the majority of people who win are people who are like in like their mid-20s or 30 or older, usually older. And it feels like a lot of people see winning an Emmy as like a midlife event that you can get to, or midlife or later event. This kid ain't even started. He's not even an adult. That's a lot to put on a kid's shoulders. So I wanted to highlight him on the pyramid because he reached this massive accomplishment at such a young age, but that does mean that it will be a little wonky growing up from it, even before now, but even more so from the point of winning an Emmy onward, because, you know, it's a quite a bit different to go from growing up and not having all this attention on you, and then all of a sudden it's like the world's looking at you. That's a lot. So that's why Owen Cooper is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is actually one of the drag queens who went to the Emmys from the most recent season of RuPaul's. I believe it was 17, season 17, I think. But I just wanted to highlight the drag queen Hormona Lisa. She attended the event dressed as Miss Piggy with full prosthetic and everything, with an accompanying Kermit in a suit. And I just wanted to highlight that because, as someone who is queer, first of all, a lot of my friends and I in high school, every once in a while, we would kind of like, you know, whenever like the Oscars or the Met Gala or whatever happened, some of us would kind of, you know, joke around about what we would wear. And absolutely, I think being unafraid to blend, to stand out like that at a carpet event is huge. All the drag queens did this. I'm just very partial to the Muppets. But it's really nice to see that, like, hey, you don't just need to be on the carpet to answer the question, who are you wearing? You know what I mean? Like, this is an accomplishment you've made. You should dress how you want to, not how someone else wants you to. And, you know, within reason, people have stylists for a reason, but also at the same time, you know, this is the Emmys. Pretty much a large majority of the crowd is theater kids. Be a little bit theater kid with it, you know what I mean? Especially, I get so pissy when a man wears a generic black suit. I get so pissy about it. But Hormona Lisa is on the pyramid because, first of all, not dressing like a stuffy black tie event. And I'm more emphasis on the word stuffy. Second of all, dressing as Miss Piggy and bringing a Kermit puppet as an accessory is the move. Thank you. Next up on the pyramid is Alan Cumming. You know he's my favorite actor. The Traitors in general won several Emmys, but he did get one just as him for hosting. He on the carpet wore a little pin that was calling for protecting trans rights. And, you know, of course, someone asked him, like, why do you feel the need to wear that on the carpet today? And he talked about how, like, because it's statement piece that people will ask you about. It gives you like a conversational opening to talk about something that's very important to you. And so he wore it because trans rights are very important to him. And to so many people that he works with as well. So I thought that was an excellent use of platform for trans rights. Next up on the pyramid is Stephen Colbert, mainly because I don't think I've ever considered a talk show host, late night or otherwise, to be chill. First and foremost, just chill. Like, he's not trying to be over the top. He's just trying to have a conversation. He's not trying to be gimmicky, really, that kind of thing. But also, again, just having your show be canceled, and knowing that your show is ending by the end of the year, and winning an award on the very same, like, live on the same network channel that canceled your show is crazy work. Thank you very much. Yeah, he also said that, like, if the elevator is trying to pull you down, go crazy and try to punch for a higher floor. Thank you. Yes. Sentiment shared. So that's why Stephen Colbert is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Kristen Milotti. Obvious reasons. She's been on the pyramid before for her performance in The Penguin, and here she is for the same reason, but this time she's won an Emmy for that performance. I absolutely, when I first watched her monologue in The Penguin, I immediately knew that, like, that is a monologue I would like in my repertoire, because it's just such a good show of the buildup that her character had had up until that point. It was a big show of authority from a woman who hadn't been allowed that kind of control yet. And that people were trying to push her out of that kind of control, and she functionally put her foot down about it. It was beautiful. I loved it. Also, just her acceptance speech was really sweet. And she was very excited about her award. So that's why Kristen Milotti's on the pyramid. Last up on the pyramid, the top spot on the pyramid this week, is Hannah Einbinder, because knowing that you're going to have a platform, especially since she knows that she got nominated for something, so there's going to be a camera on her at least at some point, using her platform as, like, efficiently as possible, and as openly as possible was just a chef's kiss. I really like that a lot of people with platform are getting a little bolder about it. Now, they're not necessarily doing things every day, but when they are at these big events that they know that a lot of people are watching, for the past couple events, I'm pretty sure there's been at least one person who talks about it, or their, like, outfit is related to something. You know, we're seeing a lot more people use their platform in a scenario where they know a lot of people will see it. And with the way that parasocial relationships have developed since COVID, I think it's a really excellent use of platform, because you know there are going to be people who have, like, a parasocial relationship to whoever it is, and they will change their opinion because the person they're attached to spoke out about it. And I think it's a really excellent use of platform. Especially, she did it so concisely, explicitly, just right up in everyone's face. They didn't cut her off, which was impressive to me. They didn't cut her off at all. It was an excellent use of platforming. So yet again, Hannah Einbinder, I was not familiar with your game. Go get it. Goddamn. You know what I mean? That is our pyramid for this week. There are pretty much 40 of you now, which is crazy to me. I'd like to thank you all again for joining me on this journey. Even if you don't watch every episode, that's fine. Just being willing to watch this journey of Weekly Hyperfixations and watch me track kind of the movement of culture and pop culture through what my little ADHD brain focuses on throughout time is really, it means a lot to me. And there's a lot of you. And just the willingness to even just to like put it on in the background, because this is functionally podcast level. I don't put it anywhere else besides YouTube, but I know I just yap. And I thank y'all for joining me on this journey. It means a lot to me. Especially I know that I literally have people watching from all over the world, and I even have people close to me that watch. So, thank you all so much. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to maybe get back into streaming a tiny bit. And I really mean like maybe once a week or once every other week type of thing. Really just like a when I feel like it basis, because I have a lot of potential things planned for 2026. So I don't know that I can necessarily do a huge amount of streaming, but I do want to get back into it because I do like doing it. Not as much as other people I know, but you know, it's a fun thing for me to do. I like sharing my passion for games with other people as well. But hopefully I'll get back to that. I'll let you guys know, of course, when I plan on doing that, but yeah, that'll be all for this week. Thank you again so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Comments in particular help with channel growth apparently, so if you'd like, of course. And we are a small enough audience that I can respond. So yeah, I thank you all so much for watching again. I'll see y'all next week, same time, same place. And bonus points, it's no longer super hot outside. So it's becoming fall finally. Thank goodness. I'll see y'all next week. Yeah. Bye y'all.